Wonderful. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us on the Empowered Parents Group. It is so lovely to have a nutritionist with us today. We have parents that have so many questions. In fact, just last night, I had a mom feeling really frustrated as her teenage son is making such poor food choices and is struggling with low self-esteem as a result. And here she is bringing in good food for him, and throwing out all the rubbish and doing all what she believes is the right thing. However, he still sources the foods that he likes and doesn't help himself and goes down the vicious circle. So it's lovely to have you. There's so many questions from parents in this group. We have an amazing group of 2,000 members, and we are so excited to pick your brain and hear what you have to share with us. So we are talking about nutrition, and we're talking about how parents can feel, how parents can support their kids to make right choices and possibly make right choices themselves. So we'd love to hear from you, Melissa. Tell us a little bit about you, your family, and what and three things that you'd like to share with us and our group today.
Sure. Well, thanks a lot for having me. Yes, my name's Melissa. So I'm quite passionate about nutrition, so I can start talking about it and just talk about it nonstop. We had gone through quite a few different health issues as a family. Or mine was autoimmune, but it wasn't until my youngest son was really sick in his first few years of life, and we had tried so many different areas. We'd seen lots of different specialists. It wasn't until we changed his food before we started to see some major changes, not just within him, but also within all of us. So there was learning and development changes, and we all experienced different health issues. So I'm married to my high school boyfriend, high school sweetheart, and we've got 3 kids together, and we actually started our family quite young. And yeah, I'm very, very proud of my kids, but it's been a bit of a journey being able to change what we eat in our home and how we sort of live, because we thought we were quite healthy and we had a lot to learn. So through that learning, I decided to become a nutrition coach and help other women really change, not just themselves, but have that ripple effect to the whole family, because I feel like we're the center of the family, and everyone kind of learns from us as well. So us being empowered and educated is, I think, really important to be able to help and support our kids the best way that we can.
Absolutely. Mums and dads bring those nutrition values into the home and can play a big role. I know when I was growing up, my mom would try, but my dad was just the other way. He was all about giving us what he thought good food, which was not good food, Melissa. And I can see how it affected the choices that I made, and how it affected my health, and how I had to create a new pathway for my kids. And it is ingrained. We do make poor food choices, and we do have a lot of joy around eating unhealthy food, Melissa. What do we do?
I know. Well, what I sort of learned on my journey while I was studying and then started working with clients is that a lot of the time we've actually been brought up, because we don't start with all these thoughts and relationships around food that sort of goes negative. And I know that it's something that we develop over the years. And I think it's the main thing is we learn good and bad food. So we started to label certain foods as good and certain foods as labeled as bad. And that's one of the first things that I think kids really learn to understand. And when sugary foods and takeaway foods are bad foods, than, you know, when we want to be naughty or we want to have something that's different, then we're looking at those sort of foods. So the first thing
That
is
way emotional eating comes from, Melissa. So when we
absolutely.
feel down, we seem to reach for these happy foods.
Definitely as adults we do, yeah. And with children we sort of look at, I think, more of the foods as a reward for the way that we're feeling as well. So could be that you know, had a hard day, or you know, the bad experience with the teacher or another kid at school, and then without realizing it, us as parents can support that and buy foods that we wouldn't normally do. I mean, I think we've all been in the supermarket aisle and had to deal with, as we're going through the checkout, all those chocolates and lollies, and we say, you know, if you behave, if you're really good, you can have this lollipop. I know I did that with my first two kids. So there's a lot of behaviors that we've learned, and we aren't really thinking about what we're doing, and before we know it, we've created a bit of a cycle there. And I think that as our kids get older, it's a lot harder to sort of reverse those things those patterns that we've had. And you said about your client that she was talking about her son and his eating, that she's tried to bring in all new healthy foods. And I can definitely relate to that, because, you know, a couple of my kids are actually adults now. And I think the best thing we can do is just try and do the best we can when our kids are with us, and then teach and educate them so that they can make those informed choices, because we're not always going to be with them. So we can't, you know, tell them what they can't have when we're with us. So we can educate them. And I know in my heart, I do the best I can when I'm at home. My son eats healthy food during the week, and then on the weekends, he's an adult, he gets to choose what he has. And I know at least that he's eaten really well, you know, Monday to Friday, and then it's his decisions. And I think they start to realize as well, and start to hear their body, what it's trying to tell them, and link those things, because, you know, they might find that they go and eat the takeaway, or, you know, the chips and the lollies, but then they find that they're having digestive issues, or, you know, they notice it when they go to the toilet, or in their moods, in their skin, and they can break out, you know, over the weekend.
Moods is a big one. You hit that there. Moods is a big one with our
Yeah,
teenagers and their hormonal ups and downs. That is brilliant. We'd love to hear more from you. Just want to mention to all the parents who are watching, we've got a few parents, we've got over 5 parents live online with us. Do you have a question for Melissa? Is that all right, Melissa, if they put in a
absolutely.
question?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
even later, if you have, if you've got a question, put hashtag replay if you're watching the replay of this video, and leave us a question, and Melissa will be happy to answer, and she'll also share with us at the end how we can stay in touch with her, what program she's got running, and how we can join her and work with her.
Yeah, thank you. Yes. So was there any questions, or there wasn't any yet?
So I think we just want, if we want to cover 3 tips for now. We've got a lot of people just saying
sure.
hello and lovely to see us and things like that. Yeah.
Okay. Yes, so I think the first thing I would say is the rushing. And I know, because I've done it myself, and I know how caught up we can get. And I think that doesn't matter how much we kind of, you know, plan our mornings out or plan our days out, we seem to still find that we get in that whole habit of rushing. And especially I think as women, rush, and the way we communicate that with our children, and that's a kind of a behavior that they then learn, that whole rushing. And with that, we can have a bit of a flow-on effect that's not exactly the way it should be.
We just had our first question come through from Rena.
Yes.
Melissa, it says, she's asking, can stress cause digestive issues?
100%, yes, it definitely can. And when we go into the stress mode or a fight or flight mode, a lot of times what happens is our digestive system's actually put on pause, because it's designed to get us through the situation that's causing us stress. And if we're experiencing stress for too long, then we can have our digestive system not being utilized the way it's supposed to. So that's a symptom I actually grew up with, and one of my kids grew up with that as well. So it was a lot of unlearning of how to not have that stress response that's connected to the digestive system. And we can notice it because we can generally feel that cramping or uneasiness in the tummy, because our body's not digesting food the way it should, because it's trying to help us survive in that moment it perceives as stressful. So it's important that we work around the stress when we're eating, but also the amount of stress that we're experiencing on a daily basis as well.
So would it be addressing the reason for the stress and working with that as well as changing food habits, Melissa?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Yeah, understanding what the stress is. And I think that sometimes as parents and as kids, again, going back to the rushing, we might also not actually be aware of how stressed we feel. So it's, it is normal for us to experience stress every now and again, but not stress on a daily basis or all the time. So having that awareness around the stress, and then, figuring out what's something that you can do to support that. But I also find that our bodies can feel stress if we're not eating the right foods. So when we're eating a lot of the white foods and sugar foods, we can actually create a stress response in our body as well. And so then if we're already feeling stressed and then we're creating more on top of that, then we're dealing with all sorts of stuff.
Wow, that's interesting. So food can bring in stress. And just from you sharing what those foods are, I think that I personally crave those foods when I'm stressed. How ironical is that?
Yeah. So a lot of times we can crave things. But I think that it's important to understand that we can change that. It's not something that we have to live with those cravings for the rest of our lives. We can change and teach our body to crave different foods. So it's taken me quite a lot of years, but I've been working on teaching my body.
I'd absolutely love to hear about that, Melissa.
Yeah. So I used to be a real sugar binger. I've been through my own journey as well, and I loved lollies. So, and I used to reward my kids with lollies. So that's something that I've had to unlearn. And what I did was I started swapping my foods around and creating healthy foods at home. And I teach this with clients, that we make as much as we can from scratch. And we teach our kids how to do that. And then in that also increasing our healthy fats. And then in turn, teaching our body to crave healthy fats. And you kind of notice it because once you've made that transition, doesn't happen overnight. It takes quite a bit of time. The foods that you actually crave start to change. And then when you do have that craving and you respond to it, you're kind of responding to it because you're understanding your body, you're in tune with your body, and you know what it's actually needing. And then when we've decided whether we're actually hungry or not, or whether we're craving something to feel an emotion, if we do find it is hunger, we can look at the healthy fats that we could have that is actually going to make us feel full or rewarded, or the happy hormones coming out. So I think there's a bit of swapping that needs to be done, and then increasing certain foods into your diet and teaching your body to crave different things, and not trying to. It
sounds like a lot of work and a lot of planning needed as well to do that. Is that right, Melissa?
So we started our journey 10 to 12 years ago, and it took us a couple of years and I don't think it's anything you ever stop doing, but I think it's important to remember that you can just change a little bit every day. You're going to be going forwards and you're going to be making those changes.
I like that.
It's something that you just chip away at. And it depends on the age of your kids and how important it is to you, because our kids, they copy everything that we do, where they're role models. So if we can learn to do it for ourselves first, it kind of has a spill-on effect to everybody else in the family. And so whoever is really, I guess, driving that will generally find that the rest of the family will get on board. And I would suggest even looking at documentaries to watch as a family. There's some great shows out there. That's how I got my husband over the mark when I said to him, we're going sugar-free, dairy-free, gluten-free. And he just said, what?
I think we did the sugar-free documentaries, a whole range of them, to realize, oh my God, what are we doing? Yeah, but we still do cheat and reach for those sugar sweets though. But yes, there's definitely greater awareness in the house. We are having questions come through, if you don't mind. I know that we had planned to focus on the three, but we've gone with the questions.
Yes.
The next question we have is around keto and paleo. What would you recommend? And are there any ages when we can direct our kids towards keto or paleo diet? What are your thoughts on those diets?
Sure. So what I would say is it's different between children and parents, adults, when it comes to certain diets. The first thing is having an awareness whether you're talking about diets, because we have to be really mindful that we aren't creating an unhealthy relationship with food when we're talking about diets with our children or about our own diets and our kids hear us, because a lot of diets are restrictive. It could be that it's a way of eating that has a bit of keto in it, a bit of paleo in it. Could be that you have a couple of days during the week that are vegetarian, and understanding that diet not meaning the restrictive form, but diet in the form of this is the way we're going to eat. And when it comes to children, we don't really know what, and most of us aren't educated enough to know exactly what our bodies need. So it's really understanding what foods suit you and what foods suit your children, and they're going to be different. Listening to the body's responses. So you eat a meal and you feel full of energy, good moods, that meal suited you. So if you're wanting to look at certain, types of food like a keto or paleo for your children, it's understanding what is that coming straight from a packet, or is it something you guys are creating at home? Because we'd always be ticking the foods that we're making from scratch. And there's so many different information out there about those diets. I've seen people who are on a keto diet fry cheese. So just pouring a block of cheese in the fry pan and frying it. So I don't know if that's really that healthy. Again, we've got to be careful we're not doing the goods and bads food or diet restrictions. So could you follow something if you wanted to with your children? You could. I would just do it very loosely and not strictly, because when you teach that strict to a child, even if they're a young adult, you're teaching them again good, bad, restrictions, and that might change their relationship with food.
Correct. Yeah.
And
I absolutely like what you're saying about tuning into how you feel about the food. So I really like that. So after you've eaten a meal, check in to see how does that food make you feel. That's brilliant, Melissa. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah, our body's talking to us all the time. We need to hear what it's saying. It can be in whispers, or then it gets louder. But, you can sort of tell in your skin, your hair, your nails. That's our largest organ. So seeing what our skin's showing us. So if your kids have got eczema, your body's trying to tell you something. There's something that they're having that it doesn't agree with. Moods and emotions a lot of times is from certain foods as well. So what is the body trying to tell us? Because when we're working towards, optimal health, our body is receiving all the right nutrients, the right food that it needs. So it's providing us a great healthy body with the right balance of emotions and energy, and all those things. So our body's telling us, if we listen, we can hear what's working for us, and then work towards that, and keep providing those things for ourselves and for our kids.
Wonderful. There's such a wealth of information flowing from you, Melissa. I can just keep talking to you. I've got so many questions, but I do know that we did agree we would leave this at 20 minutes. So parents watching, we love you. Melissa is willing to continue conversations with you. Do you have a chat link that parents can come and bring questions to you. Tell us a little bit about your group. Will you be putting your link to your group
Sure.
in
Yeah.
the comment section so we can reach out to you, because there's so much out there that we would like to know about food?
Yeah, I will add my Facebook group to the link, and my website's improveyourself.net.au. And I just love talking to parents and just being able to support those decisions around kids. I know it can feel like a bit of a mind boggle. So anything I can help with that, yes.
That sounds great, because if we are confused, that's what we're passing on. If we've got an unhealthy relationship with food or emotional eating, we are passing that on to our kids. So let's be aware, let's make choices. What I'm really hearing you say is not to be too rushed around food, because then that's bringing in stress and anxiety as well that we're passing on to our kids. And I love that tuning into, as you eat food, your body knows, your body is giving you so much information, staying in your breath, staying in tune to know what it's saying about the foods that you eat. Yeah. Can I tune out when I'm eating dark chocolate, Melissa? Because I really wouldn't want to know what my body has to say.
I encourage my clients to have dark chocolate. It's just the quality and the quantity. That's the only thing that I don't think there should be too much restriction with foods. It's just,
I like that one.
it's
I like you, Melissa. All righty. Well, hashtag replay. If you're watching this, Melissa will be putting in the comment section a link to her group, so you can join her group, join her many events. I will be speaking at Melissa's event on empowered parenting not long from now. Do we know can we remember the date, Melissa?
I think it's the last Tuesday in August. So
the last Tuesday of August.
Yes.
Melissa's from Perth, so we'll be adjusting to her timeline today. She's jumped in at 7 a.m. her time. We'll be jumping at 9 p.m. I think our time, and yeah, we love having experts. This is our Tuesday live expert chat, and we've absolutely enjoyed the insights you shared. And I think many of the parents here will agree that we can keep talking to you. We have so many questions, so we can't wait to have you put that link in. And do you have an event coming up that we can jump on, Melissa?
I do have an emotional eating event next Monday, the 16th. So I'm happy to share that if you like.
Could you put that in the link as well? I think a lot of parents would absolutely love that. I know I would.
Oh, great.
And at Empowered Parenting, we've got our event coming up this Friday. It's our Friday fortnightly masterclass, which is about perception. And yes, you can cover that with the perspective and perception we have around food, and what perceptions we have carried in from the way we were parented, what stories have we told ourselves, so we can rewrite them and make new choices. So do come and join us at our masterclass. It is targeted around supporting teens. However, if you're a mom and if you're a human being living in relationships, perception is so powerful. So come in and join us at our masterclass that is all about the power of perception. And with that, any last words for our people today, Melissa?
Oh, no, thank you for letting me have this space to be able to share. I love talking about nutrition and families. It's one of my top values. So yes, thank you.
Lovely. And we love hearing all about it. So thank you so much for joining us, Melissa. Hashtag replay if you're watching this again, guys, and do put in questions. Melissa will come and visit this page, and I will tag her and send your questions off to her. If you want to put it in the comment section, we would love to hear from you. Thank you for joining us on our live Tuesday expert chat.